Hello, well this is what you've been waiting for, the Edexcel Paper 2 Predictive Topics for 2025. So in front of you, you've got a list of all the number topics that haven't come up in Paper 1. So these will either appear in Paper 2 or Paper 3 on the calculator papers that you've got left. So these are the list of topics. We've got upper and lower bounds, including error intervals, so all your stuff to do with accuracy. Calculator display questions, so when it says work out a thing and you've got to type it in on your calculator and you've got to write down your answer. Your index laws, LCM, which is your lowest common multiple, listing combinations, you could get money questions, your powers, so your indices, squares, cubes and their roots, the product of prime factors, which links in with LCM, and the reciprocal of a number. So these are all the number topics that haven't appeared so far on the GCSE for 2025. So have a look at these topics, make sure you know them. On the next few slides, I'm going to be going through questions on each of these topics you can see here, exam questions showing you what you need to know for the exam. So there's going to be a couple of examples on each of the different topics down here, up to as many as 5, depending on how many questions there are available on the past papers, and then showing you the mark schemes and where the marks are coming from. So keep listening and you'll find out how to do all of these things. Now with all these questions, I'm going to be looking through different types of questions, and I'm going through the list of topics that you've just seen. So we've got the upper and lower bounds, the error intervals, so all the accuracy questions. I've done 5 questions on this topic, so we're going to go through each one. I'm going to show you the question. I'm going to highlight keywords in the question. So for example, on this one, number 1, your keywords, you've got to work out an error interval for D. So you're told that D is 12.7 to 1 decimal place. You've got to write down your answer in these 2 dotted bits here, and this will give you 2 marks in the exam. So I'd like you to press pause, have a go at working out the answer, and then press play when you've got an answer to check your answers. Fantastic work. So hopefully you've managed to work out what the error interval is of this question here. If you want more explanations on these questions, then just put in the comments which one you would like me to go through. I'm just giving you the questions and topics, and then if you want more help on them, then I can give you more help later on. So the mark scheme for this question is shown down here. Here are the answers. B1 means no method mark needed. So you don't need to write a method. You can literally just write down the answers, and these are the ones which will give you the marks. Okay, so there's the first question. We've got 4 more to do on this topic, and then we'll move on to the next little bit. But I'm not going to explain how to do them in particular. I'm just going to give you the questions, and then you have a go at working them out on the mark scheme. If you need more help on a question, just write in the comments below. So question 2 is another bounds question. So the keywords in this question, and in the exam, you can highlight these in the question. Write down, he wrote down the first 2 digits of the answer on his calculator, and the number he wrote down was 1.2, and you've got to complete the error interval for P. Again, write your answer in here. So press pause, have a go at working out the answer, and then press play, ready to hear the mark scheme. Fantastic work. So hopefully you've managed to have a go at doing this question. The mark scheme shows that you've got B1 marks again, which means there is no method mark needed again for getting the 2 answers, 1.2 and 1.3 in here, and this will give you 2 marks. Again, if you need more explanation on how to get these answers, just write in the comment blocks below and I will go through them in more detail for you. Our third bound question, the keywords are we've got a 90 metres correct to the nearest metre, and again you've got to work out the error interval for the length of the football pitch. Again, you're writing your answers in here. This is worth 2 marks in the exam. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. So hopefully you've managed to come up with the 2 answers here, 85.9 and 90.5. Remember, B1 means there is no method needed. You can literally just write down the answers. Again, if you need more help, just write in the comment box below and I can do a video on specific questions. Okay, but these are the questions that you need to be able to do in the exam, and these are what's likely to come up on the exam paper, on the 2025 paper. Now this question is quite a wordy question linking to upper and lower bounds or your error intervals here. So we're going to look at the keywords in the question. You're told you've got a distance of 10.6 metres to the nearest 0.1 kilometre. The time is 31 minutes and 48 seconds. Now be careful because the units aren't consistent, so you need to put them into the same form. And this is to the nearest second. So remember here, your speed that you've got to work out is kilometres per hour. So this is in minutes and seconds. You're going to have to convert your time into hours in order to be able to work out the speed. Okay, if you can't remember how to work out speed, it gives you a clue here in the units. You've got kilometres per hour. That's a distance per time. Now the word per in this question here, this line here means divide. So you've got distance divided by time. So the units here of speed help you work out the speed, distance divided by time. Consider your bounds. Okay, calculate the value of B. Correct to a suitable degree of accuracy. You must show your working and give a reason for the answer for 5 marks. So make sure you know how to do this question. There's a lot to do. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, and then press play to hear the marks or to see the mark scheme. Fantastic. Hopefully you've had a go at doing this question and you've managed to come up with an answer. So the mark scheme shows the answer should be 20. Okay, these are the 5 points where you would get the marks. The B1 up here means no method is needed to state what the bounds are. The 2 P1s here, okay, these are process marks. So if you tried to do the process correctly, you would still get a mark. And A1 is an answer mark, so that's an easy one. That just means you've got the answer correct. And C1 stands for a communication mark, so explaining what is going on. The question said explain your answer, so you have to write in words to explain your answer. Give yourself a tick if you got it correct. Great work. Again, if you want me to go through the actual calculations, then just write a message in the comment box below and I can do more information for you. But great work. Well done. This is the last question on bounds. So we've got an upper and lower bound question here, and you're told that D is equal to 1/8 of C cubed. You're told the value of C is 10.9, correct to 3 significant figures. So you've got to consider the bounds and work out the value of D to a suitable degree of accuracy, and you must give a reason for your answer, and this is worth 4 marks in the exam. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, and then press play when you're ready to hear the mark scheme. Fantastic work. So the mark scheme shows the answer should be 160. Supported means you must show your working out. Again, we've got this B1, which means it's an unconditional accuracy mark and you don't need to show your method. So there's no method needed. You can just write down these 2 values. M1 means a method mark. So you've got 1 method mark for getting to this stage. A1 is an answer mark. So the answer for getting to these 2 values here, this one and this one. The C1 means a communication mark. So this means you have to write some words along with the numbers in order to get the marks. You have to communicate the reason for your answer. It says in the question, give a reason for your answer. Make sure you're communicating why this is the answer here. Give yourself a big tick if you got that correct. These are the questions I found on upper and lower bounds. So these are the good exam questions that could come up in the 2025 paper on bounds. So make sure you know how to do bounds. You can look up other people's work on bounds if you want to find a little bit more information out about bounds. Now, calculator display questions are guaranteed to come up on a calculator question because you have to work out the value of this sum here and you've got to write down the calculator display. So the keywords are work out, and then you've got to write down all the figures on your calculator display. It tells you to use your calculator and you literally type it in what you see on the calculator and it will give you 2 marks. So press pause, have a go at typing it on your calculator and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. So hopefully you've managed to have a go at using your fraction button on the calculator, then type in the numerator, then type in what it says in the denominator, press equals and then convert it to a decimal. And you should end up with the answer of 1.7652, etc. So you've got 2 marks. M1 is a method mark and A1 is an answer mark for getting here. So you need to have a method mark and the answer mark to get the marks. So make sure you know how to write down your working to show this answer. This is the second question on calculator display questions and the last one of this topic. Again, you've got to use your calculator. It tells you in the question you're using your calculator to give the answer to 3 significant figures. That means 3 digits. So work this out on your calculator. Again, it is worth 2 marks. Press pause and then press play when you're ready to start. Fantastic. So hopefully you've managed to come up with an answer to this. So the mark scheme says the answer is 0.739. Again, you get a method mark for this section here. The answer mark is an answer in the range between these two values here. And that is your answer, 0.739. If you found this difficult, just put a comment in the box below and then I can go through it in more detail. So this is a question on index laws. Now in index laws, often it is linked to algebra, but it can also be linked to numbers. So you can see here, I've got some powers up here, which are my index. So I've got 10 to the power of 360 divided by 10 to the 150 times 10 to the 90, the square root of a lot of it. And you've got to write your answer as a power of 10. This will give you 3 marks in the exam. So you need to make sure you know the rules of indices, okay? And then you can deal with numbers as well as algebra. The next part, you're expected to write this as a power of 12. This is what Liam has done, and you've got to explain why his method is wrong, and you've got to write down why. This will give you 1 mark in the exam. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, then press play when you're ready to hear. Fantastic. So the mark scheme says the answer is 10 to the power of 60. M1 is just a method mark for this section, and here A1 is an answer mark. CAO means correct answer only, so you have to write 10 to the power of 60. If you've written out 10 with loads of zeros afterwards, you will not get the mark. It has to be in this form here. And then part B, you've got to do the reason. So this C1 is a communication mark. You have to use words to explain what is going on. So these are anything that is acceptable. Under here, this is what is not acceptable. If you need more explanation, just write a comment in the box below and I can do the full video for you. So just let me know. Here's our second question on index laws. Again, this one is linking in a bit of algebra in with the numbers, but the numbers are still there. And you've got to work out the value of A and N, and you've got to write the answers down here. You've got to work out what value is A and what value is N in order to make this make sense. This is worth 2 marks. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic. So the mark scheme says the answer should be 49 for A and 2 for N. P1 is a process mark. So if you try to do what it says here, you will get 1 mark. A1 is the answer mark. And again, that CAO means correct answer only. So you must have the correct answers in order to get the answer mark here. Give yourself a tick if you got it correct. If you want to know exactly how to get the answer, then just write a comment below and I will go through the full method for you. Our next topic is lowest common multiple, and we've got a couple of questions on lowest common multiple. So you could get a question like this where you're told the values of A and B in terms of product of prime factors, and from here you've got to work out the lowest common multiple of A and B, and this would be worth 2 marks in the exam. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, press play to hear the mark scheme. Fantastic, so hopefully you've managed to come up with the answer of 15,876. M1 is a method mark, A1 is the answer mark. So this tells you how to do it. This shows you the answer. If you want to have more details on it, just comment below and I can go through any question you need me to. You could also get a lowest common multiple question where you are literally just told to work out the lowest common multiple of 2 numbers and you're not given any other information. It's quite common to see something like this, or it could be embedded within a word question as well. So you need to make sure you can understand a wordy question and get out that you've got to work out the lowest common multiple of 2 numbers. Press pause, have a go at doing it for 2 marks, and then press play when you're ready to hear the mark scheme. So the mark scheme says the answer is 120. M1 is a method mark for the first part, and A1 is the answer mark for this bit here. OE means or equivalent, so you need to make sure you understand that. Make sure you can get the answer for 120. If you need more help, just comment below and I can go through this question in more detail on a different video. Question 12 is a listing combination question. It's quite a wordy question, but if you read through it carefully, then it shouldn't cause you too many problems. So you've got that they've got different types of fish, and you've got to choose one of the following combinations of fish. So it gives you the different types of combinations of fish here, and you've got to show, so this is really important, you might have to use some words as well as numbers, that there are 555 different ways for David to choose his fish. Now this is quite a nice question because you know the answer is 555. All you've got to do is use these numbers up here to work out how to get the answer 555. It's worth 2 marks. You need to write down what you type in your calculator to get this number here. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, press play when you're ready to hear. Fantastic work. So hopefully you've managed to come up with an answer, and you should get the answer shown. M1 is a method mark, this is for your method, and the C1 is a communication mark showing the correct products. So you've got to make sure that you're adding together the products of the values that you've got to get this 555. Our next listing combination question gives us some information here, and we've got to choose an outfit to wear, and you're told that an outfit consists of a skirt, a pair of jeans and a jacket. So there are 3 things, which are the 3 things that are listed up here, which makes up the outfit. You've got to work out how many different outfits they can choose, and this is worth 2 marks. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, press play when you're ready to see the mark scheme. Fantastic. So the mark scheme says the answer is 240. M1 means a method mark. A1 is an answer mark. The CAO again is correct answer only. So make sure you've got this correct answer here for 2 marks. Again, if you need some more help, just write in the comment box below and I can go through how to do the questions in more detail. Now this is a money question, but it also links in percentages and also ratios. So it is quite an in-depth question, which is why it is worth 5 marks, because it implies and uses a lot of skills, not just money. And that's what you're going to have at GCSE Higher. You need to know how to do in-depth questions. So your key parts of the question, you're told you've got 8,500 plus VAT, but 20%. So that means you basically add in 20% onto this value here. That's what the VAT means. Then she pays a deposit for the van. Then she pays the rest off in cost of 12 equal payments of £531 and £25, 25p each month. And you've got to find the ratio of the deposit Rhea pays to the total of the 12 equal payments. And you've got to give your answer in its simplest form. This will give you 5 marks. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer. Press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic. So the mark scheme shows the answer should be 3 to 5. P1 is a process mark. So all these top 3 here, 4 here are process marks. And A1 is an answer mark. So this is making sure you're showing that or knowing the correct process, and that will give you a mark. Again, if you want me to go through in more detail, just write in the comment box below and then I can do these in more detail for you. This is the next topic, powers, indices, squares, cubes and their roots. Again, this topic can be linked in with algebra as well for the indices, and especially the square root and cube root can be linked in with the indices and algebra, but it could also be done in terms of number. The keywords are workout and the question here. This will give you 2 marks in the exam. Press pause, you are allowed to use a calculator, and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. Now to get the full 2 marks, you must show some steps or some working of where you're going. If you just type it in your calculator, you won't get the full 2 marks. So you need to show where the method is coming from and where to get the answer from. The CAO again means correct answer only. So the answer we're looking for is 9. If you need some more help or explanations, just comment below and let me know where you need help. So this is a question on products of prime factors, our last topic. So we're looking at 60 as a product of prime factors, and this is worth 2 marks in the exam. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer. Press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. So hopefully you've managed to come up with the answer 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. Now down here it's got OE, which means or equivalent. So it means you could accept 2 squared times 3 times 5. Personally, I think this is a better way of writing your answer. You will get a method mark for writing down this first section here and an answer mark for getting to this stage here. So there's where the 2 marks are awarded. So give me a big thumbs up if you managed to get this correct. So well done. So this is our second question on product of prime factors, and we're going to look at 84 as a product of primes for 2 marks. Press pause and then press play when you're ready to hear the mark scheme. Fantastic. So the mark scheme says the answer is 2 times 2 times 3 times 7. M1 is a method mark. A1 is an answer mark. Again, we've got OE, which means or equivalent. And we will accept 2 squared times 3 times 7. Very similar to the last question. Again, fairly straightforward. So give me a big thumbs up if you managed to get that correct. Well done. Our last 2 questions are to do with the reciprocal of a number. So we've got to work out the reciprocal of 0.625. This is worth 1 mark in the exam. So press pause, make sure you know the definition of the word reciprocal and you know what to do if you see that word in the exam, and then press play when you're ready to see the answer. Fantastic. So the mark scheme says the answer is 1.6. B1 means a method mark. Without showing you working, you can just write down the answer. The OE means or equivalent. So this means you've got no method work needed for this. Remember to work out the reciprocal. It is 1 divided by this number to give you this. So that's what that word reciprocal means. If you need more help, just ask in the comments below and then I can show you how to do it in more detail. And the last number topic that is going to be coming up on your number paper is again a reciprocal question. Very similar to the last one, reciprocal of 1.6. You've got to give your answer as a decimal this time, and this is worth 1 mark. Press pause and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. The answer should be 0.625. CAO means correct answer only, and the B1 means you don't need to show your method. You can just literally write down the answer. Fantastic work if you've managed to get these correct. Well done. Remember, these are all the different topics that are going to come up on the 2025 Edexcel paper 2 or paper 3. These are calculator questions that have not appeared on paper 1. So all these topics here never appeared on paper 1. I'm going to do a similar video for algebra, for ratio, statistics and probability. So watch out for those videos as well to help you with some exam questions on all the different topics that haven't come up yet. Please tell your friends about it, share these videos, make sure you get the best out of your GCSE results as possible, so make sure you know what to do. So good luck in your exams. Remember, check out my top tips as well. They will really help you to make sure you know what you've got to do when you go into the exam. So good luck and I hope it goes well.